From Vallejo Project Radio, I'm DJ Hugh Mann, and I'll be your host here for the next few hours to get your morning going. If you're getting up and having your morning coffee, getting ready to hit the ferry, or just get downtown to work, we're here to be with you and give you the ups and downs and ins and outs of what's happening with the Vallejo Project and Vallejo at large. And we have a local Vallejo guest here, someone who's been part of Vallejo Project for quite some time and also has a lot to say about a lot of things. We have the fabulous hello. Julian Phillips downtown. Julian.
Don't use the word fabulous. Hey, out there. Hello.
Fabuloso.
Still alive, in case you're wondering. Very, very glad to be here. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, well, thank you.
What a song. You know, and I haven't had a chance to listen to that artist closely, and they got such great, she got that award, and she you could tell, very, very, very skillful, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, the type of arrangements that she has. That guitar work on it is really fabulous.
I wouldn't expect that in a hip-hop song to have a electric guitar like that. They kind of, mostly electronic. But, no, local girl makes good. So very pleased to be here, Vallejo Project. And, hey, Vallejo Project saved my life, and I'll tell you all about it, and it's true.
Well, Vallejo Project does reach out to the community and help out people, not only in a broader sense, but an individual sense. And that's kind of what happened with you and Vallejo Project. It really, it came and helped you out in a very dire time of need.
All about it, yeah. It's the least I can do to relate to how, it was meant to be quality, and I was near death 2-3 years ago. Tell you all about it when the time comes, but thanks.
Of course. And, Vallejo Project has a lot of different programs that are going on, and one of them is helping out people in the community. And you actually, you're a local musician. You've been in the local music scene for quite some time, so people may know you from times that you were out playing in town.
Yeah. So we had such a great time. It was one of the best times of my life playing downtown Vallejo. Just really met some of these, and I guess you're going to be playing some of those musicians later, like David L. and John Miner and some of those folks later, I suppose. Yeah,
we're going to be reflecting on a lot of the local musicians here in town, people that have been part of Vallejo Project in one way or another, and talk about how they've been part of it. And
I could tell you some stories about the downtown. With like 016, and we were doing a show with John Miner and I think David L. And they asked me to play bass, and short version is that we're playing late at night, and here come the PD down the street with vests and guns and tape, and they're shutting down. Somebody had a gun around. Nobody was hurt. There was somebody up in one of the apartments, but we're down there like, shelter in place. A lot of stories, a lot of people, great people.
And wasn't it true that you said you used to busker sometimes down by the ferry and that?
Oh, yeah. When I first came to town, that was hard times. And I was busking for my bread. I'd be down at the ferry building at 6 in the morning, and, along with Kevin Trapp. Kevin would be down there, and he put on quite a bit of a show, but he'd make, you could do good buskering at the ferry building, and back when they had 200-300 people a day, then there was a lot of appreciation. And if you just kind of keep it in a reasonable structure where it was not aggressive, was what they didn't like. And buskered my way all up and down California for a while, because hard times, if you know how to busker, almost anybody could do it.
That might be a cool thing for trying to arrange to have people playing more music in the street. We do have that when we have Art Walk, which we just had another Art Walk here recently. There's some music in the street, and also during our farmers market, you'll have some live music in the street as well. Which is kind of nice. It's nice to have an artist out in the public and accessible, where you can hear either cover tunes or their own original tunes, and it really brings the music back to the people, if you will.
Yeah. Show the young guys how to be homeless in the right way. Happy and homeless guys with a guitar. But buskering over the years, I'd seen guys that just didn't know 2 3 tunes. That's all they knew on the guitar, but they was learning, and the guitar is almost universal now. And over in San Francisco, buskering, and Vallejo is a great place to do it because you got the ferry and you got those 300-400 people in the morning, 300 or 400 people at night. Then that changed too, and so yeah, you got to start somewhere, and that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. And we had mentioned Art Walk, and that was just this past Friday. It's the second Friday of every month, and it's a great local local gathering, if you will. Vallejo Project has been part of it. Vallejo Project had its tent and booth up last Art Walk, talking about a lot of the programs that we do with Vallejo Project, and a lot of it is music-centered. But we definitely, Vallejo Project, we support a lot of the other nonprofits that are here in town, the Art Walk being one of them. And I think it's a very unique and special event that happens once a month.
Many Vallejo projects. Right. And of course, the Art Walks are up in Fairfield, you get them, and cities all over California, kind of farmers market ads, but it's this particular one, boy, it builds neighborhoods, and the little smaller artists and businesses can flourish, and it's a real great thing for any community. The downtown is very different than other parts of Vallejo, and like over by the big shopping malls, and they don't necessarily have art walks, but they got art walks in Fairfield, art walks all over these little towns, and the Vallejo Art Walk, typically of Vallejo, very different, very unique, very special, and great people. And then there's that hopeful guy. I met guys, Hugh, who on the Art Walk, and they drift in from Texas, 20-year-old guys with not much going on, barefoot guys. And there's a friendliness to the art community where they be welcomed on those terms, try to help them out, something to eat and something to drink. Yeah, you can play your guitar, and not as good as the next guy, not as good as the next guy. And it's a really fertile and alive art scene, and that gives birth to a million great futures. Gabby Wilson's a good example. Her path to success, and it's right there. You just fall upstairs, so to speak.
That's true. Well, we've got a little clip here from Art Walk, and I'll give the listeners out there, if you're not already familiar with it, a little insight as to what it's all about. So here we are live at Art Walk. Introduce yourselves and give us a little, for the uninitiated, if they don't happen to know, what is Art Walk and how can one participate?
I'm Victoria Preciado. I am the artist liaison for Art Walk.
And I'm Carmen Slack, the team leader.
All you have to do is come down here and find a spot and sell your things. As long as they're family-friendly products that you yourself made, you are welcome. It's so much fun. Sometimes you can find people who are serving a free libation and lots of, like tonight, Tony's Cakes is giving away free cupcakes.
What?
You just never know. And chocolate-covered strawberries. Yes. Yes, he had a documentary just now. I saw it. It was great. It was about his life. And he's going to be opening that shop, Tony's Cakes, here on Georgia Street in 2 or 3 years. But it looks beautiful inside.
It's huge. It's it used to be a thrift shop like 10 years ago or something, 20 years ago, whenever it was. And he has a whole space. He could have like 3 bakeries there. He could. It's beautiful, and he seems really nice. And his chocolate-covered strawberries were delicious.
So what is the history of Art Walk?
It's been around about 8 or 9 years, and it's what we want to keep it as a community event that is free for the vendors, free for not the art isn't free, of course, because the vendors are they're professional artists, a lot of them, and they try to make a living. So we're one of the only art walks, or the only art walk that doesn't charge any fees for the vendors. So that the vendors, if they, let's say they came here and nobody wanted to buy their work, they wouldn't be out that money, which is usually around $200 for a vendor. So, yeah.
Which is really important for some of the up-and-coming artists and some of the younger folks. They can do an experiment, really, and see if their stuff flies or not.
It's perfect. It's perfect. And they really appreciate it. And everybody seems to be getting along. And there's every type of art you can imagine.
That's great. That's great.
Music. There's always music. You know, come have a little taste of wine or champagne. There's always something fun going on here.
Yeah. And mainly DJ, but there are, actually I just saw that there was some live music outside of
Townhouse.
Yeah, Townhouse, that's where it was. Right there, right in the corner of Marina and Georgia. So we have all types of things happening.
All right, so that's Art Walk. Check it out every second Friday of every month.
Every second Friday of every month. And
Except for January.
Oh, yeah, January we usually are off, but a couple times we've had it. We're standing right now in front of Vintage Gallery, and he is a DJ. His name is Sally, and he's a DJ, Sally McFlores. And he always is here every art walk.
All right, looking good. Well, that's really it's a cool scene out there because you've got a lot of up and coming new stores happening right there, like that vintage store
down there.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was the guy. The drunk on the corner was falling asleep, or maybe it was.
that might have been
narc. They kicked me out a couple of times. Family friendly.
Yeah, but I mean, then there was like a quartet or. I don't know, it looked like almost like chamber music outside of the townhouse that night.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. I didn't get a chance to check it out completely, but there was definitely live music outside the townhouse.
Oh, yeah. That's the buildings she was talking about. She was talking about the Oddfellows building there, that big, where the hub was, I guess. And then there's these huge spaces, the one on the corner at Sonoma and I guess Georgia, that had all that huge vintage Chinese and Asian displays a few years ago, and so that the downtown character, like nearly historic, and it's like a really great attraction for families, and kids love it, and it is true, you kind of absolutely want it family friendly, but then how do you define that? And the artists are going to be free with, the sexy girls or something in the artwork. Well, what kind of family friendly? But then, for the small artists, it's a real winner. And I totally endorse that type of neighborhood success in the arts.
Oh yeah, I mean, it does bring out people from all over the place that come in because it is a free art walk. As they were saying in the interview, there's no charge for the artist to set up. They have to be reviewed, but once you've given the blessing, so to speak, I mean, so you can take something, either jewelry or baking or something, and take it out and see what the public's reaction is, and you're not like going, well, maybe I need to make an adjustment here, or maybe this color doesn't work, or whatever. Yeah. But it does give the artist that chance to get out there and set up their goods and see if it flies, which is really important.
Yeah. Well, and you don't get a chance to do that. And so much everything remote, like I'm trapped in my room doing paintings and things. And the paintings downtown, the art galleries, like the Artisan and some of the others, the sculptures, the ones over at the Temple Loft that you'll see, really just in the art world, it's subjective. Is it good? Is it not good? And then it's also, kind of borderline, like, wait a minute, what is that? And in this town, you get those parades and the art cars. I remember that one gal did her art car, and I was like, you ruined your car. She had this nice Toyota, late model, and she put like sticks all over it. She was making an art car. And so, yeah, Vallejo is the arts is downtown. Come on down.
Yeah, so one of the things that Vallejo Project's been doing is promoting the arts, and we talked a little bit about it last time here on Vallejo Project Radio of when Vallejo Project had its residency at the old hub space on the corner of Marin and Georgia Street, and how we not only had some art displays there, we had some local artists show their paintings and photographs, but we also had art lessons there too. There was a couple of art lessons there where kids and elders were involved in just basic kind of painting, and it was minimal. I wouldn't say minimal instruction. It was very good instruction with a young lady under the name of Butterfly painting, and it was a great little class for kids after school as well as elders, and it gave them a chance to express themselves through the medium of painting.
How recent was that one?
That was about when Brickmania came in has been several months now. That was last year.
Last year,
probably near the end of the year. That's when Brickmania took over the lease.
Now tell me Brickmania.
Well, Brickmania is the store that took over the hub space. They're the Lego place.
Yeah. That's like prophetic. Because like in San Jose, that mayor down there, Mahan, I guess his name is, they've started making tiny houses out of like new style big Legos, like big giant Legos. People have been saying, why don't they make tiny houses out of big giant Lego type thing? Just stick them together and put somebody in there. Yeah. So, and the classes that you were talking about was a year ago for painting, but then, they were doing stage shows. They had that Pinocchio as a robot that they did with TJ Walkup, did that one, produced it, and they did a lot of, going back a little bit, they were doing poetry readings. Poetry by the Bay was there all the time, and shows, and concerts, and more. And it was like a free stage where at the bottom of the Oddfellows building. So, Lego my Lego. Well,
the Tiny Houses is a project that Vallejo Project is involved in too. And there's been a lot of that in the news off and on, where tiny houses as a solution to homeless problem is very, very interesting. There was a guy in Oakland, I believe, who was doing it independently, who was building tiny houses. And here in Vallejo Project's involved with that. And one of the carpenters that's involved in that is Rich Sousa. He's one of the guys that works with Vallejo Project. He's one of the instructors for the carpentry program.
Hello,
and
Mr. Sousa,
and what the carpentry program is, it's a means for young people to get acclimated to carpentry, to learn the basics. What Vallejo Project does is teach like real basic stuff, like how to use a ruler, how to show up on time to work. How to keep track of your hours, what type of shoes you got to wear, just basic stuff that kind of gets a younger person acclimated to what they need to do to show up to a job site.
Why don't they teach that in high school?
Well, that's how we're
tax dollars.
There you go.
And get a job, and a skill set. Yeah. So he was teaching those classes as recently as when? Like last year? Maybe?
Recently as right now.
Right now. So those are available.
Yeah. So, and actually, when we were out at Art Walk, Vallejo Project had its booth out there, and Rich was there. And let's see what Rich has to say about it. Here's Rich Sousa from Vallejo Project. So tell the kids, what do you do with Vallejo Project? Rich.
We build.
And you build cool stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We really do. We not only build, but we do gardening. We have livestock chicken. We teach them how to gather eggs without trying to break them. We just have a lot of fun out here doing what we do.
You're part of the carpentry program here, right?
Yeah, I'm part of the carpentry. I teach carpentry out there at 2160 Sacramento Street. You got to forgive me, I'm kind of on the spot here.
2160 Sacramento is that Unity Garden.
It is a Unity Garden. It's right behind the Renaissance Center there, next to the Christian Help Center. across from the cemetery.
So you're teaching, part of the program there is teaching kids how to garden.
My job, basically, what I take on is just teaching the carpentry program, but I do help out with the gardening as well. I'm learning too as the kids are. I teach the kids teach me. We all learn together.
And so, what's up with the carpentry program? What exactly is that for the listeners out there?
The carpentry program, basically what it is we're set up, it's a pre-apprenticeship course. It's a 4-week course that we'll take the kids through. Pre-apprenticeship, we'll give them a certificate of completion at the end of the 4 weeks, and then we'll pass them on to the union reps, which will go through a 6-week course with them and then get their apprenticeship certificate to go out to work in the real world.
Wow, that's pretty good to be able to go through a program like that and end up with a real job at the end.
Yeah, it's all for free, and they pay you to do it. So you earn while you learn.
Earn while you learn. That's what we like. That's what Vallejo Project's all about. Well, very cool. Well, thanks, Rich, and we'll see it out at the garden.
Absolutely. It's 10 to 1 every Sunday.
Yeah, 10 to 1 every Sunday out there at 2160 Sacramento. You can come out and participate. It's called the Vallejo Unity Garden. And as Rich was saying, there's chickens out there. You can learn how to some animal husbandry, or as they say, or at least animal care. You can learn how to pick eggs out of a basket without breaking them.
But wait a minute, people get paid to show up and do stuff with it, then learn the classes. The kids get a little money out of it, or no?
Yeah, for the carpentry program, yeah, they actually earn while you learn. You can the kids. And when I say kids, it's from high school all the way up to mid-20s to learn that basic skill set. There is a stipend for it. And then you can go to vallejoproject.org to find out more about it.
Sign up, and he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. My wife knows how to get an egg. And she was telling me she wants to sell pigeon eggs from the pigeons. Carol, would you say hello and tell us about them?
Carol Phillips, there she is.
Bada
bing.
You're not going to sell that pigeon egg very much.
I was thinking of selling them, actually.
Call them squab, and you can eat
we live with pigeons, and some eggs make it and some eggs don't.
Tell them about Fred and Ethel.
Fred and Ethel.
Yeah, we've got a mother resting now on a nest that the eggs broke open. One egg broke open, but she's laying there, or she's sitting. She's sitting, and we've had 2 successful families.
Yeah. The first family was Fred and Ethel, we called them, and they'd hide under the chair, and then sure enough, they had a couple of eggs, and the eggs hatched. And we watched them. I told her to take video. And then they start flapping around, chirping. And, of course, you're not supposed to allow that up where we were on the 12th floor of Marina Towers. And then somebody was telling me that in Asia or something that you can eat pigeon eggs.
Really?
Yeah, they call them squab or eat them raw. And,
very small omelet.
These are decorative, beautiful, though, that egg that never broke open. So I was just thinking as a decorator, it'd be worth something. Yeah.
And then one time you saw this big hawk that came and sat there.
Yeah.
We're way up high, and it's Bird City.
A real definite.
Wow.
Carnal. Yeah, with the beak and everything, you could tell. He was. I can't think of it at the moment. Like an eagle, almost.
Yeah, big hawk.
Big, huge. Yeah. I mean, he was large. Yeah. He rested for a while. He looked down at the balcony like maybe there had been something there before, but not now. And then he took off finally, but for about 10 minutes, I was right next to a very large bird.
Magnificent. But the Renaissance Center, though, and the Unity Garden, Carol worked on that too, right?
Ah.
You were down there.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you participating in that, Carol?
Well, I just got in on the tail end of them reinvigorating that land. The garden itself needed support through plant life, and the Vallejo Project had young men that were involved. Thomas Silva, and he
Hello, Thomas.
helped bring in new soil, and they got some fava beans going, and they, it's been a beautiful thing, and the kids all come out, and gardens are for everybody, and you can come out and enjoy that and be in that space and grow plants and just sit there and look at the birds go by, if nothing else.
Well, and the Renaissance Center, too, and the guy teaching carpenter classes or building classes works down there with some of his folks, I guess. Is that it?
Yeah, that's Rich and
Rich Shoes. I think I met him.
Yeah, and Q, Ajua's brother.
Yeah.
They're both professional carpenters, and they give the classes there. In fact, one of the projects there, which involved some of the interns, was building a greenhouse there.
Yeah.
It was a small structure, but definitely gave them basic skills, cutting wood, nailing, level, measuring, all the basics that when you're going into the advanced program that is provided by the Carpenters Union, at least you walk in with some basic knowledge. You're not just there going, okay, I didn't even know which end of the hammer to pick up. But you go in with those basic skills, so you're at least up to speed with everybody else in the internship class when you go there. And they also did some repairs to the chicken coop there, some basic cleanup, and which was interesting because at the same time that the Vallejo Project program was going on, they were building that new low rent income unit right next door. Yeah. And I believe, and I could be corrected there, I believe those units that they were being built was from Factory OS over there on the island, which I thought really needed more publicity to show how a local business was building something very modern and using modern techniques.
Modular houses.
Yeah, like modular houses.
Homes.
And that way, it really, when the carpentry classes were going on, they could just simply turn around and see this, new units going up, with this newer technology.
Oh, it's a good career. If it's not just carpentry; it's all manner of maintenance. I mean, as a career thing. And the Renaissance Center and the Christian Help Center, when I came to town, I arrived in about 2012, looking for a place for me and Carol. And the Christian Help Center, which was, I hate to say it, on the skids at that time, they helped. And I landed there I was in my car. I was homeless for at least a few weeks trying to find a room. And, then the building that was there at the Renaissance Center next door, that's gone, I guess. And we volunteered there for a while. We still have a vacuum cleaner that we got from that place. It was a pretty wonderful community, grassroots, like bottom line, like help, I'm dying, somebody help me. A lot of food that we got down there. I was able to take a hot shower down there. You could sit down and have a meal. It wasn't really a place where you could stay, but you could get help and you could get food and you could get somebody understanding that you're really hurting. And like you get a lot of hurting people with the fires and with the various disasters, the storms, where, I mean, they're like refugees coming into Vallejo, and there they are, trying to put it back together. And I was in that boat myself for quite a while as a 6-year-old guy. And they helped out. And they were there for me when I needed them, and it made a difference.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, Jesus.
And that just shows you, like, a lot of the real unique qualities of Vallejo, where many communities have help centers and assistance for people that are in need, but there seems to be a little more tighter knit community here in Vallejo. Everybody kind of knows each other, and a lot of the nonprofits interface more readily, and it may just be the nature of the.
Well, they're not very. Is there a certain lack? They're not very popular. It's like not in my backyard, but of the help groups in Vallejo, right? Like Vallejo Together, or what are the ones that are currently doing that? With Vallejo Project, Vallejo Together, I guess, was one or two. And I know do you know what the competition is for?
Well, the old Vallejo Project kind of acts in some ways as a melting pot for getting information and connecting up with some of the other help programs that are in town. We've worked with some of the churches in town, some of their programs, as well as
Faith Food Friday.
Food Friday.
Boy, they fed me a couple of Thanksgiving dinners one way. Benjamin Bugg's down there.
Yep. A legend in town, yeah. So one of the things that you can do, if you're interested in helping out, or even if you might even be listening to this and need some assistance, is to reach out to Vallejo Project. If you have the internet access, vallejoproject.org, or just come and find us either at Farmers Market or at the Art Walk Fridays, and you'll find one of our booths with pamphlets and that and ways to connect up. And that's really the best way to reach out as far as Vallejo Project goes and the kind of help that we can do and assist you with. And also always looking for volunteers, mentors, people to help out, people that have time to contribute to the community. Vallejo Project is one of those community efforts that is, I don't know what they call them, steering committees or something, where at least you can say, well, this is my talent, this is my offering, this is the time that I have, what can I do? And Vallejo Project as an entity can help guide you to something that would be something that you might like to do, and also beneficial to the community. So it kind of pairs people up. So you're not just going, well, maybe I'll help out here.
Do this or anything.
It actually gives people a direction. So let's say when folks come out to the Unity Garden, if they're interested in urban agriculture, gets their feet wet, start to meet people, and then you find out there are other urban gardens right here in Vallejo that, will look for volunteers. There's other opportunities for gardening, pull the weeds, do planting. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. And
well, the volunteer community and the what you might call the nonprofit communities, everybody's going in the same direction, but there is a competition for members, competition for grants, like the PB money, the participatory budget money. You kind of got to reach out for your organization. And I have a certain amount of history, back to 80s, and I know you probably do too, where be a volunteer organization. So like in the Vallejo Project today, you've got your leadership and your membership, and I know, really as a recipient of the Vallejo Project benefits or blessing of those folks, I don't really know too much about them. I don't know who's who or what they offer. Suisun sounds like he's got it going on for, what else you got? Show me the money.
Well, the participatory budget is coming up, and there's a big banner downtown
it is,
about that. And you can look that up on the interwebs if you go into Vallejo Participatory Budgeting Cycle.
Explain, please.
Find out more about it.
Because it's like they used to call it the Community Development Block Grant. It comes down from the federal, and it was associated with urban renewal, and they kind of had to earmark the money for that type of thing. The council gets to write the checks, and then the community gets to say, hey, I want $50,000 to paint the steps, or I want to do a jazz festival, right? And then you propose it, and they pick the one that they like for the amount of money they got. That's about how that works, right?
Well, the participatory budgeting cycle is happening. The vote is happening now.
Not too late.
Click here to vote online. myvallejo.com is where you can find that. And they actually have a neat website where you can click on the different images up there to read different proposals that are being put out there. One of them is basic needs for warming and cooling centers, retrofit, roof, and the Capitol Project, animals.
What is the Capitol Project? I live on Capitol Avenue?
Capitol, no, it's like sort of Capitol repairs, that kind of stuff. Let's see what it says. Let's see. This is a Humane Society here. This is for the shelter. Let's see.
Yeah, it's good money too, because it's federal money. Carol was involved with at least a few of them, right, on the transitional housing in Paso Robles, which Governor Newsom picked up that idea. That was a no-brainer. Tell us about that one while he's looking at it. No, forget it. I'll tell him. She's shy. Because you go to the council and they would say, well, give us this money and we can do that. And they put the homeless, especially elderly and the sick, into hotels. But that was all the way back to the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of great ideas, kind of like the Legos and tiny houses.
Yeah, for instance, there's one firefighter EMS Youth Academy.
Oh, yeah. There you
go.
Yeah.
Program.
There was recently Emergency Service Worker Day, and they were celebrating emergency service workers all over, and you do have to learn that stuff. My nephew's an emergency service worker.
Yeah, here it is, Robin Maccabee Firefighter EMS Youth Academy. So here's another opportunity for young people out there where you can get into an academy to learn about firefighting and public safety.
Yeah, and then get a job in that. That's a good paying job. Those are good jobs. But you really got to be motivated for some. Yeah, what else you got? Who do I vote for?
And that's everybody can go to the myvallejo.com.
And anybody can vote.
Yep, it says
over 18.
Click here to vote online.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're ready to vote, click now.
Yeah.
And all the info is right there.
I put one up. I remember I proposed a project, and remember they had a big meeting over at the schools over on Georgia across by the hospital, and everybody get together and tell everybody else about their projects. But again, they're competing for the money, and it does come through. Carol's often saying, "Hey, they didn't spend that money the way they were supposed to, or they got the money." But what happened to it, or where'd they go? And that's maybe, debatable as to. But they did the capital steps over across.
Yeah, that was a big project. That was a wonderful project.
Yeah. And they did. I think they had a jazz.
It was privately funded, though. It wasn't.
It wasn't PB money.
No. I think someone donated the money to do it.
Yeah, they cut down those big old trees.
Well, if you're interested in the participatory budget and you've seen the banner downtown, we've got another website for additional information about participatory budgeting. Go to www.pbvallejo.org. P as in Paul, B as in Bunyan, Vallejo.org.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly.
There you go.
Peanut butter and jelly.
So another way that the listeners out there can participate in what's happening right here in Vallejo. And here we are at 847 here on 89.5 FM, KZCT, OzCat Radio. This is Vallejo Project Radio. I'm DJ Hugh Mann, here with Julian Phillips and Carol Phillips.
Hello.
And we're talking about Vallejo Project and other community organizations and other community efforts that people out there in Radio Land can participate in.
Things to do in Vallejo when you don't know what to do in Vallejo, or what you can get away with.
You can get away with. Which, one thing that people have said about Vallejo is that it's sort of the last bastion of the real Northern California kind of San Francisco feel, like sort of the way that it used to be, say, in Lower Haight.
Come on.
In the 90s even.
Well, I don't know.
It still has that sort of groovy kind of feel
she's
here.
Like San Francisco all over the place.
But, it really has that great community feel here where it's a little bohemian. It's very modern. There's actually tech happening that's hidden around that you have to dig up. A lot of artists, a lot of music.
Yeah, if Vallejo was a movie star, it'd be Charlie Sheen. And I never, all my life in California, I'd never been up here. It's kind of a secret spot, but really it was the military, the Navy, and all the way back, like practically more than 100 years up here. But amazing cultural, they say the most diverse city in America by the numbers. And, ethnic diversity, you got it. And you live it, and you learn it, but the last bastion of no.
Well, where else is as groovy as Vallejo these days?
Well, San Francisco, but there was. I don't know. Maybe that's true. But if you go north, though,
I guess
don't you get like
you get up to Mendocino and all that?
Sonoma, which competition is fierce for that California thing, and the golden handcuffs. Carol's like in love with San Francisco, and she was urban gardening over there. And,
oh wow!
Well, our story was that we married 35 years, and we had to break up with the economic disaster about 09, 010. Finally got back together here. And in the meantime, she was over in the city doing urban gardening. And tell us about your habitat learning and the urban gardens, because that's going on up here too. That's San Francisco.
Oh yeah, they've got a wonderful agriculture whole thing on ag, and the Brecken Park people have agriculture and flowers and the whole thing. I mean, San Francisco has a lot to offer young people, and art is one of it, but gardening is another part. And it was wonderful gardens down there.
Jane Fonda stopped by your urban garden, right?
I was fortunate.
Jane Fonda.
Yeah, she came in one day, and we were just visiting, talking like regular people, and then I realized, I said, wow, you're Jane Fonda, aren't you?
Wow, you're Carol
Well,
Phillips.
what if I am,
My wife, a movie star.
That was about the end of our time together, I know.
But you had that urban garden, and I was.
I was fortunate. Gavin Newsom had done a lot of work on homeless outreach, and he had developed the Octavia Garden for a project, Homeless Connect, that he was putting out when he was the mayor, and beautiful. And the homeless had a place to go, and it lasted for, a certain length of time, and that's all you get.
Well, they fought it when
the city came in, and that was it. The project's over. It's closed. And then, the whole thing, and then you lose track, and people leave, and life goes on. But Hayes Valley certainly needs to preserve those 2 parcels on Octavia Boulevard.
Oh, yeah. When they took down the freeway.
Yeah. And that was a major change. And I could go on and on about it.
I wonder how that compares.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. But the people of Hayes Valley will save it if they want to, and they should. That they have built on these incredibly tiny parcels,
little piece of parcel,
just so they can say, we ruined this whole thing.
Well,
if you
or
come
they
off
plant
the freeway.
tomatoes on 10 square feet in Santa Monica.
No, they did a horrible thing there, putting that beautiful hillside that was a drainage, a natural drain for the water from the rain. And now they put a building on that parcel.
Well, in a city like that,
it's
the
a
land
horrible thing that they did, and I'll never forgive them for it. The man that developed the parkway, he even said, "What in the hell did you guys do? You had to build on that little piece of land there."
And you took a thing in a class in not Habitat for Humanity, but green housing,
green technology.
Green technology.
Green tech.
That's a big thing right now.
Oh, it was. Yeah. And we all had they were promoting the gardening or green technology, really, how to go green. Let's jump on this bandwagon. Yeah.
Well, going green, especially for the tiny housing, is a great way to dovetail those two together, because if you're going to be doing mini housing for new homed communities,
some squash and melons.
You want to have an urban garden around the mini houses, as well as the mini houses themselves being green and being efficient, maybe with a solar panel on top. With a way that you can dovetail, and then having mini houses in a lot that also have gardens around it. So that you can sustain yourself in so many different ways.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and keep busy and productive activity, and you're not just sleeping all day. And I wonder how the urban garden over there on Lily Street compares to the Renaissance Christian Help Center garden they have now, because I would go over there, and the streets of San Francisco, you walk, you can't go in any place without some money, including personal needs. And that garden, somebody'd show up, volunteer, open it up, and they had all kinds of little plants and flowers and celery and tomatoes.
Well, they were trying to deal with the homeless outreach.
It was
too.
a homeless thing because you'd stop by and it was free. Somebody'd have lemonade or
You
sandwich.
could sit down and rest.
You could sit down and rest. Yeah.
And they had water and, actual food. We had nibbles, and we grew our own lettuce. We were having lunch, beautiful salads with
that guy was a
homegrown
gourmet
lettuce.
chef from Napa.
And we even had
Gregory
a
Lyons.
peach tree that a woman walked by one day. She said, I have never seen a peach tree in San Francisco.
On the street. Yeah.
And it was blooming and beautiful peaches. And there was a lot of good love there. And I'll always be thankful for Gavin Newsom and his work on helping that situation. Of course, the whole emphasis, they were growing in City Hall. They had that area had been a garden, and they were creating gardens, and that's another beautiful thing about the city. And then our neighbor, a friend of mine, had the Please Touch garden behind the blind outreach, and it was just for blind people. And they had taken over a lot just right under City Hall. The area had been just a wild weed patch, people drugging up in there and everything. And then they turned it into something really beautiful. And that's now kind of hit the deck again, They go up and they go down, and but the gardens go on.
What do they call the garden at the Renaissance? Does it have a name?
Unity Garden.
Unity.
The Unity Garden, and it's free to go. In fact, you could, if you were interested, you could go over there right now and check it out.
Become one with a tomato.
There you go. You can vibe with the vines.
And like chickens laying eggs over there, is that going on?
That's going on all the time. In fact, the folks that are there at the Renaissance Center
With the price of eggs.
can go over. I know, right? With the price of eggs,
$8 for a carton of eggs.
they can go over there and harvest the eggs, care for the chickens, and the main. I wouldn't say the main, but when the instruction's happening and when the carpentry class is going on, and when you can get some instruction is on Sundays. Sunday.
Urban Gardens for Jesus. That's Carol.
11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
All over the
every
world.
Sunday.
Yeah.
The Vallejo Project folks will be there, and you can participate and find out more. But the neat thing about that particular garden is that it's sort of a 24/7 garden. It's there for the people there at the Renaissance Center to help them, but it's also for the community to help you learn about urban agriculture. We're coming up on the top of the hour here at OzCat Radio, 89.5 FM, KZCT, here at Vallejo Project Radio. I'm Hugh Mann. We're here with Julian Phillips and Carol Phillips.
Hello.
We're talking about all sorts of things happening here in Vallejo, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the music scene here in Vallejo, which has always been known and well known in the Bay Area. And, of course, took a look.
Historic. People don't know Vallejo contributed some of the most famous songs of my lifetime.
Really?
Oh, sure. Dock of the Bay and a Sly Stone at the least, and now EB40 and Gabby Wilson. This town is Music City.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about Music City and a lot of the things that are happening in the music scene here in Vallejo in just a moment.
0.5 FM, KZCT, Vallejo.
Ooh. So, we have one of our local musicians right here, Julian Phillips, and we're going to start off with talking a little bit about what he's been doing and producing here in Vallejo.
I also dance. Guitar party when you're feeling blue. Guitar party, my new shoes. When the news is too much for you, a guitar party's what you do. Yeah.
Guitar Party, yes, that's the theme song from Julian's podcast, the Old Blind Dog Radio Show,
Yeah.
Guitar Party.
Well, and I'm blind. If anybody enjoyed my music over the years, I am now currently a almost totally legally blind person, and that's different. And that's the Old Blind Dog Science Fiction Guitar Party, which you helped to produce the podcast. And you can find it on Spotify, and you can find it on all the podcast platforms. We got about 10 hours on there. But we're focusing a lot on science fiction because I also write the novels. But I lost my eyesight in January 21. And that's the story of how the Vallejo Project became part of my life. And Thomas Silva and Ajoa kind of just showed up. And I was near death. And it's a whole different aspect about losing my eyesight. But that's me singing that song, yeah.
And it goes to show that there's a lot of locally produced music and locally produced podcasts right here in Vallejo right now. But you were talking a little bit about the history of music here in Vallejo and a lot of the stars and artists that came out of here. Sly and the Family Stone, of course.
Sure. That's a story all by itself about that guy, how he got ripped off. And, he had problems and stuff. But when I came to town, see, I'm not a real guitar player. I fake it like for years, then I learned to do it better, and I learned from other people. But like when I came to town, my roommate said, go down to Chris's club, and those guys used to play with Sly and the Family Stone, and in the 70s I was listening to those tunes, and so there's all stories and stories and stories, and not all of them very free of some of the torment that goes with Dock of the Bay and Al Green, the jazz player or blues player who played the upside down. He had a lefty guitar and turned it upside down. He's playing with Stevie Ray Vaughan and some of those fellas. So it's the stories and the stories and the stories, and mine is just one of them.
Yeah, and I think that. It's very pertinent that a lot of the music that came out of here were not only party music, but also politically minded, as was in the 60s and 70s, and even right up till today.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to escape the black ethnic community telling you where you can put it with some of what's going on in the world today in Vallejo. And, Sly Stone was right there. EB40's right there. Mm-hmm. And... but they had the the Kings, Sacramento Kings versus the Warriors, boom, because they lost against the Lakers. Mm-hmm. And EB40 was over there, and somebody was giving him crap in the stands, and he got mad at him, and but he'll come through town, and he helps the charities, and then it's really strange, Hugh, because like I said, we spent most of our life in San Luis Obispo County and ran a newspaper down there. Mm-hmm. And so, I was freelancing for quite a while. And, I'd go onto the internet and find a client that wanted me to do something. One of those guys was a guy called Vlad the Butcher.
Vlad the
For
Butcher.
real, yeah. And he was producing videos where he would go into prisons and show the prisoners like fighting and stuff.
Wow. And
so he hired me to do research on the hip hop scene in Vallejo. And of course, I didn't know nothing about it, right? And that's when you run into like Too Short, and of course the famous I can't remember. The guy Thiz Nation, what's that guy? What's his name? They got shot. Very famous. It slipped my mind right at the moment. And so I'm researching it and looking into the famous hip hop artists out of Vallejo. And next thing I know, I'm living in Vallejo. And why'd we come to Vallejo? Because it's the place where people come. The rents are maybe a little more manageable. And so I'm researching this, and I'm learning all about Vallejo. Now here I am.
And here you are producing some great music, too. Here's a politically minded tune that Julian put together recently. topical part of conversation, and
I get in trouble for that one. It's a hot potato, man. Ukrainian lives matter. I write songs constantly. I'm one of these guys. It's therapy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And play that.
All right, so here's a cut from one of Julian's pieces right out of his home studio. Topical, Ukrainian Lives Matter. Lives Matter with Julian Phillips right here on 89.5 FM, OzCat Radio.
We're saying that last bit, the last stanza was from a song from the 60s.
Yeah.
Which is like, what was that song called? In the year 65.
In the year 2525.
Yeah. Which I kind of lifted it. But it's so unbearable if you follow what's going on in Europe right now and the just terrifying, abusive, nightmarish. We went to Mother's Day with my son, 33 years old, and we're talking about war crimes, and he said, "Oh, that's not real." But I, from my sources in the BBC, and everybody argues, but it's unbearable. And I wrote that song just listening to what we heard happening, and the songs, is like a plea in your heart, like somebody, change this or look at this situation. All lives matter.
Yeah.
A dog life mattered.
And a lot of great songs over the years from all sorts of sources were based on
protest
and things that were happening at the time.
Yeah, sure. The war over there now, and I remember during last year that there was a band that came out of Ukraine, and they were like, and the whole music scene has shifted where you don't have superstars like we used to in the 70s too much anymore. They do, like Taylor Swift and stuff, but there's that world music where you might never hear some of these outstanding tunes. But no, when there's insane, crazy crap going on, people gonna make a noise and sing about it and let other people know. I did a song for a group out of Fairfield, I think, or Vacaville, called Broken by Violence. And that's her group, and she connects survivors of gun violence with opportunities to tell their story. And they're also looking at the state assembly and stuff, and trying to introduce bills to get assistance for folks that a friend, a neighbor, a kid, a wife, a loved one had been harmed by gun violence. And I did a song for her, Broken by Violence, that and so it just comes quite naturally to me because I'm playing guitar like all the time. You can hear a lot of them on the old Blind Dog Science Fiction Guitar Party.
Indeed.
What they were.
And with your home studio, you've been doing some interesting stuff.
You set it up. You're the guy, and I can't even see the buttons no more.
Here's a jam that you did, on your own there at the studio, which was sort of riffing off the Ukrainian song theme, where you did some mixing up there.
Like when you look at the chords on that song, I can tell you for true, like it's an E, and then the second chord on there, I learned that chord from a guy at the townhouse.
Really?
Yeah. does this. He's a school teacher, and he would, that's how you like learning guitar chords and stuff. And he showed me, and it was like it's a different chord. It's a C with an added A or something. Sounds real great. The F minor and a C, and you learn as you go. And of course, you set up that studio, and I wouldn't criticize. That's a cassette recorder.
Ah.
That's a plug-in cassette recorder, like one of the old. So that's very elementary. But
Yeah.
I'll tell your audience another thing is that song, the Ukrainian Lives Matter or Broken by Violence, and some of my other ones, I have new songs that I'm doing all the time. I would happily give away the rights and the lyrics to anyone out there who wants to use it professionally or do a higher end version of it for a donation to the Vallejo Project. And I'll make
there you
that
go.
offer right now.
Wow, that's very generous.
Sure.
There you go. And
I got 1 million of them. And thanks also to Consumer Music, who that same guitar, the acoustic guitar, both those guitars come from Consumer Music. Hello, Brad, Consumer Music. That acoustic guitar is like $100 guitar on Amazon, and it broke down recently, and Brad fixed it for free.
Yeah, big shout out to Brad at Consumer Music. He's a stalwart here in the music community in Vallejo. And go down there, and he's a great resource for musicians here in town. There's a jam session that goes on there. Check out his website, and they've even got a studio down there. They give lessons too. So another great resource here.
He's massage chairs and
massage chairs.
Yeah, he's got like these, like the ones that they have at Planet Fitness, where you sit in them and they do your back and stuff. And again, when I came to town, I'm getting to know the musicians around, and I was riding around a bicycle or walking. And, it's a thing where you kind of help the other guy. And there's a lot of competition. I know you're going to play some of the more advanced musicians later. And so I never like to give people the idea that I tell people, the world's greatest guitar player, that's me. Also, the world's sexiest man, ask Carol. She's like, I'll be 3 a.m, honey, I'm playing tunes.
Well, from the world's sexiest man, the world's best guitar player, here's another jam from when you were a part of an outfit called Two Fish. So many kids out there might remember him as that. And let's listen to a little bit of Julian Phillips with Two Fish.
I'm not going to play the cajon on it, but that's okay.
Fish.
That was recorded in Vallejo, down on Louisiana, by Bamboo Still Morning, about 13, 14.
Ah.
Yeah, and I can't play that one too much. I try to remember how that one goes. It was written for, I tried to write it for the movie we made in Big Bear, and they didn't use it. And but it was when I did that recording, he was broadcasting. That's why you hear him talking. He was using a computer program called Second Life, I think it's called, where you have an avatar and you have a little cartoon character that's you.
Oh, Second Life. Yeah, I remember that.
It's like a simulated reality.
Right.
I guess
yeah.
Facebook is doing that now too. Where you.
Yeah. I was hearing about that, about their metaverse.
Yeah.
And the comparison where, like, a lot of people got turned off to the metaverse because it was too cartoony.
Well, with Still Life that he had, which I had never really seen before, I would be sitting there playing guitar, and there'd be a cartoon of me playing the guitar, and then people on his little team would log it. It was, a cartoon universe with places around, and then they could chat. And so he was saying to me while I was playing, he said, "Don't look at the chat while you're playing because they're commenting and you get distracted."
Right.
Slow down.
Well, you'd be behind all those compliments coming. You might lose track, right? Yeah. Being the sexiest man in Vallejo, what can you do, right?
No. Just for Carol, that's private. That would be you.
Oh, I see. I see what this is.
You getting married out there sometime this year?
I know. Okay, yeah.
Now we're getting personal. But, music is nothing if not personal. And Two Fish grew out of buskering, and I called it that. And really, about 2009, with the so-called recession, I wanted to make some extra money. I knew how to play guitar and I knew a few tunes, and I'd go to restaurants and they'd give me a dinner, a big nice dinner, and
literally singing for your supper.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it works. And so we ended up in Big Bear doing a movie in Lake Arrowhead, and I just kept playing and kept playing.
Nice.
Threw up Two Fish, and then so you can find it Two Fish or Julian Phillips' Two Fish on Reverb Nation.
Okay.
I think it's still out there.
All right, 922, 89.5 FM and KZCT, blah, OzCat Radio right here on the Vallejo Project.
Thank you very much.
Project Music, Project Radio Show.
Projecting
out to Vallejo and environs. So coming up next, we're going to be talking a little bit about local music here in Vallejo and musicians that have had an affiliation with Vallejo Project in and about and around. And we've had quite a lot of good, amazing local musicians that have been around for quite some time playing music, being associated with Vallejo Project one way or another. And one of those projects is Blues Cinema. So if you people want to know John Miner out there in the community and Blues Cinema, you may have seen him at Art Walk, playing out on Friday nights. We had a musical series with Art Walk back in the fall of last year. And also when Vallejo Project had its residency at the Hub down there at Georgia and Marin, Blue Cinema was one of the acts that came through, and John was one of our musical teachers there. And here's a little compilation of what Blue Cinema is about. They're kind of jazzy.
John is great. John is he's into jazz personally, and he's a connoisseur of music trends.
I think they were just down at the last Mad Hatter parade, playing in the rain.
On drums.
Yeah, and this one. very Dave Brubecky.
And changing those textures.
Some amazing stuff there from Blue Cinema. Really eclectic, not jazzy, very kind of prog. I would think a little
He's
bit.
very skilled. He's more than meets the eye with a musician like that. Yeah, Blue Cinema, he's calling it these days.
Yeah, Blue Cinema, and they're really a fixture here in Vallejo. When you look at that compilation reel there on YouTube, you can see that they played at the Oddfellows Hall. I've seen pictures of them there, up in the Oddfellows Hall, a lot of different festivals here, Mad Hatter's Parade. So they're definitely
well, and he was Bindy's Wild Adventure. This sort of shifts around, and that group. So that's a YouTube compilation then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and his style. Boy, some of those marks are just too much, and really that's not for beginners. I played with John a few times, and he invited me with courtesy, and he was trying to show me some of what he knows about jazz styles and jazz drumming and kind of the fifth beat on a four beat, and you can hear it coming through. And the tribal element too.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you like it? What do you want from it as an audience? What do you want from it as a performer? And it's that kind of the universal building blocks of sounds and noises, and he's very good at it, and quite a contributor. And, a little bit of a wild card, but we love you, John, and love to see you again, too.
One of the other local musicians that is very well known here in Vallejo area is David L. He also was one of our guitar instructors for a while here at Vallejo Project, and he's played also at Friday Art Walk, played at the Hub when Vallejo Project was there, and many, many other venues in and around the Bay Area. And he has a unique blend of rap and sort of jazz.
He was
funk.
trained. He went to university for jazz, he told me.
Oh.
Yeah, back east. Yeah.
This is from his album True and Living, which can be found on YouTube.
Born, bred, and brewed. Well, sometimes I'm wild. Well, sometimes I'm rude. I'm acting wild. Embrace my inner child if you don't. But it's all good. I ain't easily riled. I show style. Dobby's been here a while. And since it's all good, I kick back and just smile. And always keep it peace. But do not ever fess. You see me on the stage, everyone must confess that there is one and only David L. who shows skills on guitar and rock the mic. Yeah, I'm the one and only David L. who shows skills on guitar and rock the mic. On guitar and rock the mic. I'm the one and only David L. who shows skills on guitar, then rock the mic. Paso por la puerta, sienten el temblor, traigo el sabrosura, soy el mejor, el original y quedan contentos y así se sienten en los cuatro vientos. Ustedes saben cómo lo paso chill, que hasta la española si say David's ill. So, now you know, ningún secreto, pegando más que un fusilamiento. Mi regimiento todo sencillo, te digo claro, pana, que no need to guess. Soy único, elegante, bravo y fino. Aquí en el presente es el destino. Yo nací en Queens y soy su hijo. Todo relajado y bien tranquilo. Siempre pura y con belleza. I step to the stage and bring forth my best, cause there is one and only David L. who shows skills on guitar and rock the mic. I'm the one and only David L. who shows skills on guitar and rock the mic.
All right, David L.
Who shows skills on guitar. Rock 'em.
I like when he punches in that one part with the guitar effect. It sounds a little bit like kind of a 70s kind of distortion
got it
effect. That was kind of
covered,
cool, kind of pop
sure.
that in there for a minute.
Got a little bit of Hendrix style, but if you're one of the Vallejo Project students who've learned or spent time with David, you got a treat that's rare in my lifetime. Just because to learn some of that stuff takes a long time, to pick up some of those skills, and really, really genuine human being. Also a dad. I believe he's Puerto Rican or Espanol was in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I played with him a couple times, and like I said, he showed me chords that I couldn't touch. I was like, nobody plays that chord, David. Oh yeah, all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Well, that was from his True and Living album, and that was the one and only. And you can find that on the YouTubes. Just look up David L.E.L. out there on the interwebs. Another local musician, local hero, as we like to say. Because, and once again, anybody, any of the young people who had the opportunity to learn with him while he was teaching with the Vallejo Project got a real treat.
So if the Vallejo Project's going to take like somebody like David and pair them with younger people, or I guess either way, and that's kind of the drift of pairing up students with teachers or mentoring. Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the carpenter guy does the landscaping carpentry.
Yeah.
What other areas do we have? Cooks and chefs? Do we have boat builders and boating, or
we actually,
boxing?
Yeah, well,
tell me about it.
Boat building actually is very interesting. That's one of the programs that we're actually working on that might come up later.
Is that right? Boat building?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I tried that once from a book and failed miserably. It's hard to build one. You got to make a curve on the bottom.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It's a tough. But being in a nautical, historical boat building community, so to speak, that definitely has its.
The glory of Vallejo is the channel out here.
Yeah,
you got big boats.
Yeah, one of our board members on Vallejo Project, Paul Kirsch, who's also a local teacher, is working up a program to teach kids how to build a small energy efficient boat.
Yeah.
So not only will it be a program about actually building a model boat using techniques for wood and other techniques for actually building the hull of the boat, but actually powering it using wave technology and also solar technology. So that's a program that's coming up.
I know they had the kayaks was a big deal, but building like a small boat, like out of wood, you got a blueprint, and then it's got ribs and a hull, and it's quite a skill. But powering it out of solar.
Yeah, solar and wave technology, the actual waves of the water, providing the. Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Now, what if they're going the wrong way? I like sailing out here, and the Coast Guard, and it's one thing you just absolutely love about Vallejo is the channel and the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the other local venues that's popular is Integrity. It's a tea room, but also a venue. And we actually, Vallejo Project produced several of our podcasts right out of Integrity. And we occasionally use that for yoga classes and music classes. And one of the musical acts, I would say, very interesting duo called Airlift Underground. It's more of a dance, eclectic, melts in your mind type of music. Here's a little sample of what they do when you may find them. They were there last Friday at Artwalk. Very interesting
There's
duo.
more here. There's more here. There's more here. There's more here than meets the ear. More than anyone understands. Like an old story told fourthhand. The only constant is conversion. Everyone hears a different version. Pass it on. Pass a ton. Pass to one. Pass we won't. Pass it on. Pass a ton. Pass to one. Pass we won't. It's the universe at the end of the restaurant. Where food for thought is easily bought. And chaos ordered anew. Serving misheard mondegreen stew. Topped with poached portmanteaus. Battered ear slips. And acorns dipped. With a side of mangled malaprops too. Battered ear slips. And acorns to dip. With a side of mangled malaprops too. With a side of mangled malaprops too. Out of the way cafe. So I wanted the audio buffet triggered a sense of recognition. I was offered a selection of sweet admonitions, served with hot cross buns and double shots of expression. Double shots of expression. There were troubadours in the rear. In the midst of an open mic session, a parade of moron lessons, misbegotten ballad, rapid succession, tossed word salad, litanies of confession, and sea-soaked shanty. Sea-soaked shanty. Salty insurrection. Salty insurrection. Sea-soaked shanty. Salty insurrection. It's the universe at the end of the restaurant, where food for thought is easily bought, and chaos ordered anew. Serving misheard mondegreen stew, topped with poached portmanteaus, battered ear slips, and corns to dip. A side of mangled malaprops too, with a side of mangled malaprops too. This one sings out lullabies, and we all shed a tear inside. That one slings barb lampoons, slick and dripping with crude. Well, this one came with steam to vent, scalding with bristling rage, squeezed between broken laments, mourning the darkness of our age. This one grumbles gritted blues. Whoa, 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 a world of bad news. That one wails tales of mutinies, trailed by bygone buccaneers. Someone hails victories, trumpeted in yesterday's lore, and someone thunders the wonder of tomorrow's rising roar. And someone thunders the wonder of tomorrow's rising roar. It's the universe at the end of the restaurant, where food for thought is easily bought, and chaos ordered anew. Serving misheard mondegreen stew, topped with poached portmanteaus, battered ear slips, and acorns to dip. Battered ear slips, and acorns to dip, with a side of mangled malaprops too. A side of mangled malaprops too. With a side of mangled malaprops too. A side of mangled malaprops too.
I'm personally very excited about this duo. The stuff that they do is very unique. It's a poetry over the electronica.
Yeah, are we there yet? You got to restore back to the mortal time stream to get home again. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that stuff. It's very intellectually stimulating.
Yes, the wordplay is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, where food for thought is easily bought. I love that one. That's cool.
Yeah, the university. And so they're local then.
Yeah, they're local. That's Amanda Mission and Indie Riverflow, and they were over at Integrity last Friday, and they got a great DJ setup, two mics, and when they go into their tunes, man, it really the interplay between the two of them is amazing, and they memorize all of that. So
really?
Obviously, so it's just it's real. Yeah, it's really an exciting performance.
And of course, the rapper tradition. When they're rapping and they're spinning it from originals like in the moment very much, and trance and electronica is very much a favorite these days.
Oh yeah, especially here in the Bay Area with the the whole Burning Man community, the whole underground rave scene that started off back in earlier than the 90s, but that's where I was first exposed to it.
That was quite a thing with Ghost riding the whip, and like I said, that Vlad the Butcher character that hired me. The guy that was shot, he's very famous around here, and right now my mind is not producing his name. The Fizz Nation rapper. And he went back east to do a show in Atlanta, because the Oakland rappers and the Bay Area African American, if you will, and the gangster rap and stuff, they introduced an area that goes back to Scatman Crothers,
Right,
and,
right. Mm-hmm.
and bebop, and things that the music was from spontaneous lyrics, and so what you get is raw, and of course sometimes that's kind of angry, and I don't know if that's family friendly. But one thing it does is for the audience is there's a moment when people are together experiencing something happy, and it really brings a unity and a healing that I've always appreciated.
Well, live music in itself is always unique. I mean, there was a period of time, anytime technology takes over live action, people say, well, who needs to go out and see anything live anymore?
Yeah.
But there is that interaction between the artist and the audience, the vibe that actually sets up the sonic vibration, if you will.
It's real.
That turns it into more of an experience than just, okay, I'm just listening to this and whatever.
Well, and so much of the video generation on the phone is like you're alone, was one-on-one. But the tribal element of the music is, if you're not doing live music, Bay Area or something, maybe you don't, old school concerts or big giant Woodstock things and stuff. But the little bars and the clubs, the Hop Monk or the Confunction groups, and boy, they're just priceless, and they're always new, and they always have something to say, and enjoy a beer or two and chill out.
And another couple that we have here in Vallejo that have performed at the Hub when Vallejo Project was residents there, as well as at Integrity and around, is Common Union 59. Very interesting duo.
Boy, I never got that one.
Really?
No, all these. He didn't used to call it Cinema Blue or Blue Cinema.
Well, this is Common Union 59. This is a cut called Magnolia Waltz.
All right. Oh yeah.
There's a fork in the road. Shall we take the one least walk? Do we say yes or no? Or maybe, I don't know. Take my hand, let's do the Magnolia Waltz. And it goes step 2, 3, and a little sway with me underneath the magnolia tree, where the flowers will see how what life was meant to be. Down the road where no one knows. Have you walked this road before? Asking questions, wanting more. Faded pictures from the past of a dream that didn't last. Take a chance, let's do the Magnolia Waltz. And it goes step 2, 3, and a little sway with me underneath the magnolia tree, where the flowers will see reach beyond our wildest dreams. Down the road where no one knows.
Come with me.
Come with me,
if you
please. So come on, let's go down the road where no one knows. Take my hand, let's do the Magnolia Waltz.
Beautiful.
Wow, and that harmony, those vocal harmonies are everything with that.
Common Union 59, and that's the union of Laura Malsing, if I pronounce that right, and Steve McKenzie.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Vocal harmony is such a thing with the music, and the two singers harmonizing like that. And Carol is always telling me about the church where the song leader Gillis. Tell us about his music. The church music is all over the place too, but the vocal harmonies, beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Absolutely. So A lot of great music being produced here in Vallejo, and Vallejo Project's been proud to be part of that. We listened to clips from David L., local musician here, and his group, Blue Cinema with John Miner, Airlift Underground, and Common Union 59. So a lot of great music still being produced out of here, kind of underground here in Vallejo.
It's hard to make it as a musician. It's hard to make.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah. Just a working musician getting paid. Another great band in town is the Brian Travis Band. If you ever listen to him, just sweet as honey, folk rock. But if you're a working musician, you kind of got to get a real job sometimes. It's getting the gigs where you're getting paid, and the big shows, little shows. It's tough. And I think really one of the things that Vallejo Project I had been talking with, and of course I'm kind of out of it totally now with my eyes being gone. But if you teach young people the music business, how to get the shows, how to get the gear, how to do tours, how to do any marketing, how to organize money, or what level of money. There's a big difference between doing a show for 10,000 people and doing a show for 10 people. And
but you still have to deal with the same things kind of in a way. I mean, you still have to get the venue, pay for the gas and the oil to get there, deal with the ticketing, what kind of cut you're going to get from the bar,
And then when you're up in front of people, it's that heartfelt moment. Bob Dylan in his new book, on the philosophy of modern song, Bob Dylan, and he was going all over the place with guys like Perry Como and Joe Jackson and Elvis Costello and stuff, and not necessarily favorites, and not necessarily anybody I ever heard of even, but his writing in it. And I have a lot of respect for Mr. Dylan, Mr. Zimmerman. We got a couple of Zimmermans around here.
Yes, we do.
But he was writing about how what he respected of it was the artist's authenticity of loving the audience and giving to the audience. And that's big show, little show, it's the same thing. And it's something that's rare and hard to do. And also in Vallejo, you have the concert band, and of course the Empress with all those great shows too.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of great. In fact, there was a great event right outside the Empress. I think it was last weekend. It was a goth festival of all things. I can't believe I tripped over that one, but yeah, I mean it was amazing. There was goth inside and outside of the Empress.
I mean gothic.
Yeah, like vampires and goth music, and there was goth fashion and art and everything. So I mean,
I can hear it from my apartment because we're just a block away. I was like, what are they up to now down there? The Provisions is often playing Hispanic music, and you can hear them. And then, of course, every now and then, Gabby Wilson will show up and do a big number out there.
Interesting.
Netflix will run the cameras. Yeah. They're going to buy that church on the corner that they shut down, that Methodist.
The big Methodist church?
Yeah. Is that place got to be 100 years old? Tell us about it, Carol.
It's 165 years here in Vallejo.
Yeah, we're way
Methodist,
back.
I'd like to know, where have you guys gone?
Yeah, Netflix is going to buy it.
Yeah, but it's up for sale.
Oh, wow.
We need some deep pockets.
There you go. Well, all right. Well, this has been Vallejo Project Radio right here on OzCat Radio, 89.5 FM, KZCT, 9:54 in the AM. 73 degrees out there. It's going to be a nice day. It's a little foggy out right now, but that's probably going to burn off later and give us another beautiful day here in Vallejo for all of us to enjoy. And be sure to check out all of the artists that you've heard here on Vallejo Project Radio today. And if you're interested in volunteering, being part of the community, Vallejo Project is here for you at vallejoproject.org. And
do it. You'll save a life. Do it. If you don't got nothing better to do it.
That's right. So thank you very much. Julian Phillips has been here.
Who's that? BC.
The best looking guy in Vallejo, I heard.
I can't even look in the mirror no more. Carol does it for me.
Okay. And Carol Phillips also here. His lovely bride.
Happy Mother's Day.
And happy Mother's Day. So be sure to keep tuned here to 89.5 FM KZCT here in Vallejo, California. We're broadcasting all over, all the way out to Napa, Fairfield, Carquinez Straits, and environs. And also you can find us on the interwebs at OzCat Radio. Just look us up. Google it. Do your Google homework. And look up all the bands that have been on here and all the different
AI GTP will do the whole thing for you.
That's right.
Soon to be run by machines and robots.
Indeed. And that's that's a huge topic right now, which we may touch upon in another Vallejo Project radio show. AI.
I'm not afraid of that. Artificial intelligence. All intelligence is artificial. Mine and yours.
I don't need no badges. I'm not afraid.
I don't need no intelligence.
I am afraid of no AI.
Who do you call it intelligence?
Who are you going to call? Well, we got some artificial intelligence happening right here. I'll tell you, very artificial.
We're working on it.
We're working on it.
Soon to be authentic.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We've got more fabulous stuff coming up on here on 89.5 FM, OzCat Radio, your local radio station. So stay tuned. We've got the OzCat bot coming up with some tunes for you. And be sure to come back to us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Peace on earth. Yeah.
And goodwill to all here on Vallejo Project Radio.
Okay. It's Project.
This is OzCat Radio, 89.5 FM, KZCT, Vallejo.